evening.
Hello.
Hey.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, can hear you
Good,
fine.
good.
And I did just real quick. Did you send the file? Do you know which
Literally
email?
like 5 seconds on your iris at
Okay.
iriscarter.com.
Right. Thank you.
And it's
Oh, this
and
is
it's a part of tonight's show for those of you that are waiting. Welcome. This is Eyes of Indigo. To my right and or left, to the other side of the screen is Iris, and I am Margot. Welcome to the show, especially all of our regulars. And if you are new to the show, feel free to learn about my credentials and Iris's credentials on our very first episode called The Prequel, done back in September of 2020. And you can learn about how and why Iris and I got to where we are, our backgrounds, our education, and all that good stuff. And we are in the middle of indexing all the topics that we have covered each week since then. So that's going to be very useful. We'll let you know when that's available. And hi, Tammy. Tammy's the first person to type in. Yay! You know what, Tammy? You get a bell for being first.
Hey.
Thank you. Tammy has learned. I appreciate this. And we love it when people type and say hi just to let us know that you're out there because we're live. And that's the only way that we know in real time that people are out there listening and
Yes.
playing along with us. And we're excited to have you. We love doing this. And yay, there it
Yeah.
is. Oh,
Yeah.
picture
I
of the
wanted to show her.
beach.
I'm
Nice.
sorry. I'm multitasking here. So.
No worries. I know you are. Iris is the creator, producer, and co host. She is much more than a co host. I'm a co host. And then I wear a shoestring. She wears the whole outfit.
Oh God, you bless your heart. Thank you.
And it's very much appreciated. This is a lot of fun. Iris is a Jane of many trades.
Oh,
And
okay.
you'll learn about that if you go listen to episode 1. Even if you
Yeah.
think you know us, you know what? I highly recommend it. Even if you feel like you know one or both of us, go check out the first episode. You're going to learn stuff about both of us that you may not have known before. And it's quite fascinating. So tonight's show is a reheat or a next
Yeah. What
edition
is
sort
it?
of. It's sort of a next edition of a favorite philosophical game. Let's call it a game uh, that our past viewers have enjoyed in other episodes. Iris, take us away.
We are. It's called. It's a Q&A, question and answer on philosophical ponderings, and we go and we find lists of questions that are interesting topics that usually take us down different rabbit holes and kind of bring enlightenment and really
Yeah.
it becomes a discussion that a lot of people have commented that they really enjoy seeing where the discussion goes. And of course, we encourage the audience to make comments, and we'll also you'll get a list of numbers, and you choose the number, and we read that numbered question. So
Sort of like spinning the wheel of fortune there. See what number you land on.
yeah, hey Jody.
Hi, Jody.
So do let us know if you're out there, so we can see it.
Just type hi, type hello, type
And I might
fart
as well
you.
hit this and show this, and we'll bring it up again at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
show. But
Mm-hmm.
for the next month, these are going to be our programs. We've got psychic readings next week, and we
Woo.
encourage the audience will read questions, whatever you
Do many
have. And
readings answer questions that are answerable in 5 minutes or less?
yes, yes, we can't do a full 30-minute reading here on one
Mm-mm.
person, but yeah. And then we're going to start our chakra series. That's kind of hard to say in a chakra series. That 10 times fast.
Series O chakras.
Yes. And so we're going to start code red, which is the first chakra. We'll
Level
be talking
1.
about that.
Yeah.
And Then on July 20th, we're going to do the second part of honing your intuition. We started last week on that.
Mhm.
And then July 27th, we're going to start discussing universal laws. So all of those are coming up.
I like where you put our motto in the sail space
Yes.
of the boat, which is actually something I forgot to mention. Guys, the whole purpose of the program is in our little motto, and we are discussing weird stuff in a rational way. You can see it in the sailboat on the left. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we do.
And here. Yeah, we got our
Yes.
bird. Yeah.
I I like the 1 minute promo that you created in the past as well.
Oh yeah.
You ought to pop that up once in a while because that's actually
Yeah.
Iris did a really good job putting together outtakes, really clever that get the
Thank
point
you.
across. So you did brilliant job
Oh,
with it.
yeah. We're fun
But
with
we'll
that.
yeah, we'll run that one eventually. Hi Nicole, it's good to see
Yeah.
you, sweetie. Nicole drums with me every week on Sunset
Oh,
Beach.
lovely.
Yeah,
Lovely. Glad to
yeah.
have you with us. And I guess, I don't know if you mentioned this, but we have some people that are on YouTube and some people that are on Facebook. And so if you make a comment or something, we'll throw it up unless you tell us not to. You can say in your comment, don't post, but I want to say this. and I want, but what's the point? We want you to be a part of the program. But so that way, Facebook and YouTube, you can see each other through the comments that we share. And then also anybody who's watching this later. And for people who are hearing it in one of our podcasts later.
Auditory
Yeah.
recordings. Yeah, they can't see what's going on. So we tried to say everything out loud.
So, and speaking of, since we're on the philosophy
Well, you know
bin,
what? And welcome to all our future listeners that are coming in through the audio over time. Welcome,
yeah.
future people.
We know you're coming.
We know. And we're going to teach people to see you too next month.
Gotta enjoy Calvin and Hobbes since we're talking
Oh,
philosophy.
Iris agreed at finding memes and cartoons that fit our topic. And Hobbes,
History.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, so Calvin is talking to Hobbes and he says, history is the fiction we invent to persuade ourselves that events are knowable and that life has order and direction.
And Hobbes is stroking his chin and thinking about it with a little shocked expression.
Yeah.
Probably because a 5-year-old is telling him that.
Yeah.
But they know it better than we do for lots of reasons. Yeah.
Well, tonight's questions we pulled from a website called Owlcation. And we're using their deep philosophical questions and philosophical questions about death. And we've put them in a chart, and you can choose questions numbered between 1 and 53. So if you throw a number up, I'll pull that question, and Margot and I will begin to tackle them. And I guess I should open my...
So in the chat, type a number. Use your intuition, people, or your favorite number, and type a number in the chat so that we can see. We do have a time delay. Sometimes it can take like half a minute or a minute before we see it in the chat. But any number between 1 and 53. And we will do our cerebral best and humorous best to answer the question.
And then we'd love to have your comments on the questions afterwards.
All right,
so Jody
says 11. Says number 11. Good. And then Tammy has one as well. So we'll start with Jody. She popped up first. You guys were...
Question 11. Let me... Okay.
Iris, I'm here and I need to read it to you.
Oh, God. All right.
Should full access to the internet be a fundamental right?
Duh. Yeah.
Why?
I mean, to me, the internet is like a library. And you should be able to read any damn thing you want to in a library, just like you should be able to access anything you want to on the internet. And anybody that controls it is controlling freedom of speech and freedom of thought. It takes away our right to access information,
Right.
and it controls information if people if it, it's like with censorship, I guess I should say.
That's what I was saying. Give us an example. I'm hearing you describe censorship,
Yeah, exactly.
which is
So, like,
which is actually a heinous crime.
yeah,
It's downplayed, but it's actually a profoundly heinous crime. It actually is.
we've
Yeah.
had people that look at the wars we've been having on Twitter and Facebook for the last couple of years, where people get censored. I mean, like, for example, I posted something on Facebook one time, and it was a quote about something Hitler said, and it was very thoughtful about how people get sucked in to believing somebody who's charismatic or whatever.
Right.
And I also had like a picture, it might have been Mark Twain or somebody like that with a quote. So it was a picture of Hitler with a quote, Mark Twain with a quote, and I posted them on Facebook. It was just thought provoking.
Yeah.
I was put in Facebook jail for 24 hours. And
for
I couldn't
promoting
post
suicide or some crap like that made no sense. Yeah.
I was like, what in the hell? And so, and it's like the bots are doing it and don't even understand the content and the concept of the post. And if you are stupid enough to believe everything that everybody posts, then that's your fault, not the person.
It's room for growth. It's room for growth. Look,
and I'd say that with Twitter, I can't tell you how many people are now coming out of Twitter jail, that have been
suddenly.
In so long.
Yeah, from censorship.
Been trying to do his thing.
Let me be devil's advocate. Is there information on the internet? And, well, that's not right. There is information on the internet that is not well designed for every person's consumption, such as security secrets, passwords, social security numbers, phone numbers, and so on.
But it's illegal if somebody posts that kind of stuff, and that's up to
That's on the internet too. So we are talking about the dark web a little bit here too. Credit card numbers, all that stuff is also on the internet. So, well, I guess where I'm going as devil advocate question here, I guess where I'm going is assuming, let's frame it up a little bit. Assuming that security sensitive information is also on the internet, and there's a lot of evidence that there is, should universal access be a fundamental right?
Well, okay, should full access to the internet be a fundamental? So maybe we need to define the question. Because if you're talking about the general internet, and you look at, like, there's people in China that can't access certain websites, and there's people, in Russia that can't access certain websites, and they almost have to go dark web in order to get access to things.
That's true. Yeah.
So the basic general, as we know, internet access through standard internet
protocol.
Yeah, and search engines and that sort of thing.
Access. Yeah.
Yes. If you're talking about going dark web and child pornography and illegal trading and
nefarious information.
That is somebody's personal,
that can jeopardize another human. Yeah.
Yeah. Then that should not be accessible. But that is a legal issue and not a fundamental right issue.
Okay, so clarity would be needed between what is fundamental and what is legally ethical.
Yeah.
or legal ethics. Legal ethics
Yeah,
and
I mean,
fundamental.
if I I work at the community college and I have access to people's some people's social security numbers, phone numbers, things like that, and if I
Mm.
go and I post them on Facebook, that is against the law. Because I'm
Mhm.
posting their private information, I would be fired from my job. It should be taken down,
Right.
but I know that to keep my job and I'm not supposed to discuss people's private information, and I would never do that. But if somebody in Russia has bought a list from somebody who hacked the school, but they're not going to put that up on Twitter and Facebook either. They're selling it.
Yeah. But that's access. Yeah.
And you have
Interesting.
to, I don't know. Do we need to do a class on the deep web or dark web so that people know how to find
Ooh.
out what's out there?
Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. We need to do a topic on what is the dark web and just or all about the dark web as much as you know. Because honestly, my information is limited because I'm scared to go
Yeah, me
look.
too. It's not. I mean, I know there's ways to find out. So
But there's
hey,
you can
we'll
do
do the
research.
deep dive for y'all.
We could we could look up information on the white web or the
And
light
so
web. Yeah.
when the FBI comes knocking at my door and arrests me, I was doing it for research purposes.
Yeah, if we're off the air for a few weeks after that, y'all kind of know what happened, right?
Maybe I can find a dark web expert that'll talk to us.
All right. While you were regaling us with this wonderful, thorough answer, much appreciated. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Nicole and Jody had entered the number
The
11 at the
same
same
number.
time out of
Yeah.
all those digits. So
Yeah.
apparently that question was extremely important.
Yes. And do feel free to comment. Like, and if you
Yeah.
disagree,
Nicole,
you
roll the dice and
disagree.
throw another number out there, sweetie. We're
Yeah.
going to answer Tammy's question now, which is, while you're doing that, which is Tammy, thank you, number 5.
And I'm getting that up on
And
the.
while she's getting it up, I will read it for everyone to hear. Does God have supreme power? Does God have
Ooh.
supreme power? Can I modify that question so that we.
No, I answered as it is because I know what.
Oh, really? I was going to put one pronoun in there. Does your God have supreme power?
I think that's a two-part question. You don't have to say your, just say yeah.
All right, put down the
What is
juice and
God
answer the
defined?
question, Iris.
I'm sorry. Oh, me?
Put
What?
down.
Jesus. I thought you were
You
going to
said
answer.
you got a 2-part answer. What are you throwing
No,
me
I
under
mean,
the.
I think it needs a two-part answer, but I mean, do you really want me to?
Yeah, that means
Okay.
good. The answer is coming to you. And now
Okay.
I want to know what you have. What's in your head.
Oh, listen. Let me impart my Swami. Um. The okay. So a God can be whatever anybody who's watched it thinks of as God. Your higher power, the creator of all that is, Yahweh, whatever you think of as the universal God.
Yeah, Allah, the universe,
Yeah.
uh,
And does
God,
that entity have supreme power?
the Force.
Here's my answer
Yeah.
is yes, but there's a caveat because we all are part of that. So when you think that every single energy entity anywhere, not just on Earth, is
Yeah.
part of that,
Yeah.
then we're all connected, and that is supreme power because you the entity is within all of us.
Supreme implying ultimate everything.
Yes.
So that's everywhere. Yeah, including Earth, but much, much beyond Earth, everywhere beyond Earth as well. Okay, so what
Oh,
is was
cool, Tammy. Tammy says I was literally pondering this question in my mind
I
today.
was good. Yeah, I was gonna say, guess what? We have intuitive people on board today,
We got some
tonight.
serendipity going on. I love it. Who
So,
said?
did you
Yeah,
tell us
who
both
says
part?
God doesn't have supreme power? Look what's happened already.
Exactly. Demonstration on board. Did you tell us both of you said it was a two-part? Did you tell us
Well,
both
that's
parts?
yeah, because like identifying who God is and then what the supreme power is, but it's not a singular outside being that is, the end all be all man that comes down and dings everybody in the head and does things. No. Uh,
Absolutely. Angela
hey,
has joined us. Angela, pick a number between 1 and 53. We've gotten two numbers done, 5 and 11. Nicole,
so
you still need to throw us a new number since you chose 11 and it just didn't register as fast as Jody's 11 did. That's all right. But we're going through. I want real quick. I had a different answer
yeah, go
for
ahead, please.
number
Yeah.
5. And what does God have supreme power? The way it's spelled, capital God. Um, I interpret that question to be talking about the Christian version of God.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to keep going down the typical path, the typical Christian, typical interpretation, typical biblical King James Version type of description of what is God, that version is limited, and it does
Oh
not,
yeah.
have supreme power. It is
It's a figment of your
basically,
imagination.
yeah, I was going that you can go on and on and on about that one. Basically, and just basically, I'm not going into details because it'd take forever. Basically, that God is portrayed as a judge, a creator, and a parental figure. And those are very limiting power structures. All three of them are power structures, archetypes. All three of
Well,
them are
it was
powerful
created as a that figure was created. It
based on the Pope.
started as because people didn't totally understand,
Sure,
and
sure. It's a
as the
human
Bible got
construct.
edited, it was even created more as a we have this ultimate supreme being
Exactly.
that is all and
So this can also be applied to the Quran as well, and all those books and tomes that try to define and delineate a supreme, again, supreme being or creator. Just because you're a creator does not mean you're a supreme power. Women create babies all the time, and I've met plenty of women who are out stupid, but they are mummies and they have created and they are artists and they have babies. But just because you're a creator does not mean that you are a supreme being or have supreme power. You're close, but you're not quite there. You're not quite there. So,
yeah.
um, so in terms of that limited definition of what is God, of what is the Christian God, no, it's the definition itself is self-limiting. And my definition of supreme means omniscient
Yeah.
awareness and action on everything possible. And yeah, my God, yes, my personal overlord um, is the supreme power, but not so much the Christian one. Iris, I'm seeing you're jumping in and out on the host
Yeah,
stream.
yeah, I don't know why. It's like my internet's acting up or God's telling me to shut up.
There's
I don't know which.
Are we stepping on some high voltage toes? Wouldn't be the first time on this show.
It's because we were talking about deep web or dark web or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
that might
what's
have
doing.
attracted the wrong attention. So Angela gave us a number 33. And 33 is, will artificial intelligence help increase human lifespan in the future? Will AI, artificial intelligence, help increase human lifespan in the future? Oh, I've got some self-righteous opinions about that one. I got some self-righteous opinions about that, Iris.
Go
You're
ahead.
back
Yeah.
in. Artificial
Yeah.
intelligence help increase human lifespan. Yes, but not necessarily in every situation, and it doesn't necessarily extend quality of life. It depends on what type of AI you're going to actually be using. However, in an ideal situation, human evolution will quickly exceed AI. So AI is basically the help that it can, the physical uh, health side, medical side of AI will eventually basically be a band aid effect, a temporary effect, until the energetic being, which is currently known as a human, but it will be even more so in the future, um, will be able to interact with AI and control it as much as it controls its host and eventually supersede it by design. Supersede it by design. So I think it can prolong life, or I feel like it can prolong life. However, that is a temporary situation by design.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of hard because the science of AI and the abilities of humanity
Yeah.
are going to change beyond what we can currently understand.
I hope so.
Yeah, yeah,
We don't know enough. Yeah.
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 So, I mean, there's some AI now that I could pull my hair out over, but it's gonna
I completely understand. Yeah, arm
Okay,
wrestling
guys,
with my camera
give us
roll. Yeah.
numbers between 1 and
We need more
53.
numbers. Nicole, if you're gone, I'm sorry. Something must have come up. She is a foster parent to a bunch of puppy dogs. So
Oh,
yeah, she does a lot. So it's possible she got called away. But Tammy, Angela, or if anybody else is listening out there, Jody, if you want to throw the dice again and give us another number between 1 and 53.
I
Ooh,
like that
comments
fancy.
on the discussion are also, thank you, Angela, are also very much wanted. Angela, you get one of
Yay,
those.
she gets a bell.
She knows. Angela's got us covered. What if AI should become self aware and want to keep us, quote, healthy so that we can serve them? All right, now we're talking about the Terminator series and the
Yeah.
Matrix series. Both of them, AI did do that to humans in those movie plots. You want to try to answer that one, Iris, or do you want me to? Oops, she froze. All right, I'm assuming she's signing back in and back out. I'm going to answer it. What if AI should become self aware and want to keep us healthy? For starters, AI, its version of self awareness is not the same as humans' version of self awareness. So those limitations are going to restrict how much it can actually outthink, outwit, outmaneuver a human and humans as a collective. So Hollywood glorifies AI taking over, such as in The Matrix, the plot there, and such as in the plot with the Terminator and Arnold Schwarzenegger and all that. Hollywood glorifies it and also horrifies it, makes it scary. Uh, but if you have benevolent humans that are aware from the fourth dimension and fifth dimension and higher, and those are the beings, humans or any other being, benevolent. Any benevolent being that's creating AI is creating AI that is also benevolent. All right. They're not going to, two little whitefish mate, they don't have blackfish babies. They make more white fish. All right. Two bluefish make another bluefish, so on and so on. So
Unless
two
there's something
benevolent.
deep in the genetic stream way back that,
And
great
Iris
great
is a
grandma's.
screenwriter and a director and a producer from Hollywood ilk. So she comes up with these really fucked up twists that are
Hey, I
awesome.
took genetics in high school, and
They are awesome.
it's like a family can have blondes all the way down, and then suddenly a redhead pops up, and the man's going, "Who did you sleep with?" And the woman's going, "You. It was just you." And sure enough, there could have been a redhead way down, but that
Absolutely.
gene could pop back up. So
That actually happened in my family. Everybody was a brunette, and suddenly my sister showed up as a redhead.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, apparently
What color is the
grandma.
postman's hair? But the
Right,
but the
right.
other thing is just playing devil's advocate with what you were saying. What keeps just like you got all these hackers that do malicious things with information that is being kept benevolently. What if they could hack into an AI and make it go wacko? Robots on steroids or
All right,
whatever.
so I like your devil's advocate, and honestly, in my opinion, and also based on what I've read and what I've studied and heard other people like me discern, malevolent thinkers and beings will always be here. They're not going to cease to exist.
And that's a judgment call on our level anyway. But
Exactly. What is benevolent? What is malevolent? Those are situational. All right, whether or not something fits that label. But oppositional energies, things that are oppositional to a benevolent intention, with building AIs in this case, for this example, are always going to exist. So, yes, there are always going to be distortions. However, if we're moving into fourth and fifth levels of awareness, we're going to be we're going to be entirely aware of what the malevolent people can and will do, and be able to react to it or respond to it, be a better way to say it rather than react, be able to respond to it appropriately, and view that as an equal opposite attempt by the universe to create balance.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
And
And
Nicole, and by the way, Nicole did jump back in. She was taking care of a hound, and Angela liked our answers about benevolence,
yes.
beings.
Okay, so
Absolutely,
we got
absolutely.
um
Jody says 23.
oh man.
Anytime you guys have comments on what we're talking about, we strongly encourage you, type, ask questions, whatever you want to do.
And give us another number.
And yep, we're ready for another number while we chew on 23, which is, do we change when we have power?
Mm.
Iris, do you want to chew on that one, or
Um
I have an opinion.
yes,
I'm interested to see what hear yours too.
I would say we do. I mean, you can't help but change because now I will say this, when we have power, I'm assuming that would have to be acquired power because if you just have it, you're going to be who you are when you're
If you're
born.
already if you already
Yeah,
have that power, you're going to continue being that. So
yeah.
yeah,
But
so
if
let's assume this is power bestowed.
yeah, definitely you're going to change in some way. And what it means that what I mean is it's not good or bad or like how somebody becomes like a senator and they have power and oh now they're an evil politician or that might be the case. I mean, it can be positive or negative, but in general, when somebody gains power, there is additional responsibility. There's going to be an effect on people that they associate with and that sort of thing. It doesn't mean that your personality has to change. It doesn't mean
Right,
that
right, right.
the core being
The
has to
core of you.
change.
Right.
Yeah,
There's
but
two
it
kinds
just
of changing: your public persona and energy, and your personal persona and
some
energy.
people get power and become even more generous. Some people get power and and you've got different types of power.
Mm,
Is it wealth or knowledge or um climbing up a social ladder or in roles of significance in a job, or what kind of power is that and how does it apply? So that's kind of my view. What's yours?
Um, we basically rolled right through what my answer was is generally the essentially what for most humans what they are essentially continues to shine, continues to be, and when they gain power because of that responsibility caveat that comes with it naturally, uh, what they are continues to be, but it shows up differently. Okay, so someone who is naturally kind and generous, when they have power, they're suddenly very philanthropic and very charitable on a bigger scale, and they might even be considered more gregarious and outgoing and even more generous, whereas people who knew him personally beforehand would be like, she's always been a real generous, giving, sharing person. It's just y'all didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Now that she has power, she's seen as super generous and super philanthropic. Well, no, she's always been that way.
And sometimes people only have power because we give it to them.
That's true. That's true. Power, yeah, power, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a whole nother philosophical question. So we got numbers to follow, but you're absolutely right, and that's absolutely worth. 2 cents worth. That's 5 cents worth considering for sure. For
And that's
sure.
a question to ask: is who are you giving power to? That when you let people rent space in your head for
Mm,
free, or when you
who are you
allow
giving your
people to
power
bully
away
you or
to,
boss you or tell you things, who are
or
you
make you
giving
feel
power?
bad, or make you feel elated? Who are
Because
you giving
nobody
your
makes you
power to?
feel anything.
Yeah, take back your power.
Yeah, I got the power.
I got the power. All right, so
Okay,
Nicole has asked the magic number, one of my personal favorites.
17.
17.
Janice Ian made it popular. Um, is true beauty subjective or objective? Oh,
All right, wait. Define subjective, define objective.
well, subjective is okay. If it's well, objective is are you is
Yes,
it is
see?
it cut and dry? Is it cut like
True,
on a test? An
true. A yes,
objective
no.
answer is like A, B, C, D, or
True,
yes or no.
false.
There's not, a subjective answer would be like an
Shades of
essay
gray.
question, or it can be dependent on different.
Nuances.
Yeah. Um, and also you would have to define true beauty. What is true beauty? So in a
What?
way, is that does not in it doesn't the very fact that true beauty is subjective because there's no everybody has different definitions for what true beauty is.
Then you've answered the question. You feel true beauty is subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
But there are a lot of people who look at too many magazines and think it's objective. If you
Exactly.
if
Which
you're if you're
is
not perfectly proportionate and
which is a bane of existence for our society. That women that look like 12-year-old boys
mhm.
are considered an icon of beauty, whereas, yes, tall, thin women are beautiful, but so are short, round women. And it becomes subjective instead of objective. So, if you're talking about true beauty in terms of physical beauty, with defining what is true beauty, um, if you're talking about personality and energy and generosity and so on, and patience and all that, those are all types of beauty. If you're talking about physical beauty, such as the beauty of a painting or the beauty of a song or a book, not just a person, we are deferring to whether or not a human is beautiful in this discussion. Well, what about songs and books and artwork and landscapes and so on? Those things are defined as beauty or true beauty or not beautiful as well. Those things, I think, can become, you could qualify those things as objective. under certain circumstances, which is a subjective answer.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes like in a local radio morning show that I listen to, sometimes the guys will get on there and they'll talk about movies and stuff, and they were saying, "Oh, but this movie or this program that it's not that great," and I'm yelling at him, going, I'm yelling at my radio basically at the time, going, "You didn't get it. You don't know how. It's too deep for you. You're too."
It went right over your head, popcorn
Yeah.
brain.
Of
Yeah.
course, you didn't think it was good. It's a genius movie.
It was, yeah, you were watching above your pay grade, buddy.
Yeah.
Watching movies
But
above your
it's
pay
running
grade.
around. One of my favorite comments in a movie is a direct reference to beauty, and it's in the movie In and Out with Kevin Kline, and I can't think of who the other guy is, famous actor,
Kevin
Matt.
Kline is a brilliant comedian.
Yeah, it's Matt. Not Matt. Is it Matt Dillon? Maybe it's in that one. I think it is. Anyway, he plays a high school kid who went on and he wins an Oscar on award, and in the meantime, he identifies Kevin Kline as being gay, and nobody knew it, including Kevin Kline, and then he figured it out, and so the kid flies back to his hometown because he knows there's a bunch of upset going on and he wants to make it right. And so he's this big star and he's dating this supermodel. Her name is Sonia.
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 Guys, you need to be throwing us numbers. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sonia.
And so they get to the town and it's just a regular hotel and she's going, "What is this place?" And he's like, "It's a hotel. Get over it. I'll be back." He said, "There's a restaurant down the street. Go get something to eat. You look like a swizzle stick."
Ooh, that's a harsh thing to say to your girlfriend. A few thousand miles from her obviously Svetlana accent there.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
you
exactly.
look like a swizzle stick. A Twiggy reference there. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, oh, okay. But yeah, so
That would be an objective statement.
yeah, I just every time I think about like models and beautiful people, I always say, "You look like a swizzle stick." That's because I don't, but
Few people do.
yeah, very true.
So Angela gave us a number. Thank you.
22.
And it is 22. Will a curb on buying guns and arms reduce the number of shooting sprees? Does that say in the United States? Is that what the rest of that sentence is?
In the world.
In the world. I don't care about that. I can talk about the United States intelligently, but that's about it.
Well, first of all, the
on
United
buying
States
guns and
has
arms
the
reduce
most
numbers of
incidents.
shootings, period. Shooting sprees.
Yeah, and United States seems to have more,
But
I
not
think
necessarily.
but not necessarily. There's lots.
That's a media ploy.
Yeah.
I have an answer, but you go first.
Go ahead.
Well, hang on, so I gotta get my ears on straight here. Well, first of all, the answer is no, because I'm gonna get a little bit radical here.
Oh God.
The shooting sprees that they are probably referring to, such as Sandy Hook, Texas, Columbine, Florida, etc., etc. There's several dozen of them, but those are some of the famous ones. There is plenty of evidence out there that those, Las Vegas,
Yeah.
when they came in, flying in, there is plenty of evidence out there by hardcore, reputable truthers and researchers and professionals and scientists, sociologists, former government agents and officials and employees and so on, that the majority of those shootings, if not all of them, were staged to create heartbreak, havoc, distraction, and division. One of the things that those shooting sprees are hardcore, and you're seeing it now, is they're trying to divide people from their Second Amendment rights, which is exactly why the Second Amendment was created. Go read it. Go read the history behind it. And by the way, do not do the history on Google because that's
Do
been
DuckDuckGo or something.
well. DuckDuckGo is also not
Oh, are they
is
getting?
also corrupted now.
Oh,
But
man.
do the real research. Go find some truthers that are historians, documented historians, and you're going to find out that about the Second Amendment, and what it was for, and why it was written. Literally, the Second Amendment was written to prevent the situation we're actually in right now, which is ironic as hell, but they knew that then too. So, first of all, just to recap really quick, first of all, the shooting sprees that you hear about are not gunning, cough, cough, crisis actors. Yeah. She's talking about the people that you see on the TV running to the camera, from the camera, and throwing themselves on the ground, and they're not bleeding one damn bit. And then they try to put them in body bags in the next scene, and they're still moving. All right. There's supposed to be rows and rows of dead people there, and they're moving. People sit up. All right. And there's more. That's just.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. So do the research, you'll find out. So these shooting sprees are not actually because of an abundance of guns and ammo. Shooting sprees are designed to create division and separate, and to justify taking away guns and ammo from the general public. By the way, one of the a very popular movie where all the civilians did not have guns, and the only people who did have guns were government and militia. And that famous movie was called Schindler's List.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
heard something interesting too. It's interesting to see what's going on in the sidelines with all this debate going on. I heard a story the other day that the people that I can't remember which company, it's like Winchester or it's not
Smith and Wesson or something like that.
Yeah. They have the contract to make bullets for the Army. It's an Army-owned facility, but they have the contract and employ the people and
to make the ammo.
Yeah, to make the ammo for the Army. The thing is, during times of peace, relevant peace right now, they're still fully staffed, and so they're making more bullets than needed, and the Army says you're allowed to sell the excess to the public. Okay, that's the general contract that they have
All
now.
right. All right.
So they're making extra money by, when they make
selling overruns, right?
And it's about 30 to 40% of their production is on sales.
Sure.
They're now proposing, the Army's now trying to, or supposedly is trying to come in now and say, we don't want you to sell to the public.
Too bad, got a contract.
Reduce the amount of ammunition available to the public.
Mm-hmm.
The side effect of that is, if they're not at that production and they have to lay people off, if we were to suddenly go into war, they would not be able to immediately make much ammo as we need.
A little bit of shooting their own noses off to spite their face.
Yeah.
Shooting themselves in the foot. No two puns intended.
Yeah.
Interesting. That is an excellent insight. Thank you, Iris.
Yeah, I thought it was fascinating.
That is a really interesting conundrum that they're developing on themselves. And Angela makes a very wise statement as well. Anytime there is big news, quote unquote, making headlines, ask yourself, what are you being distracted from? What are we being distracted from?
Isn't it odd that we have had one crisis after another. And I saw somebody on the more extreme right post. It was like a
Right.
conspiracy thing, where they're saying, have look at all these crises and why are we constantly having these crises? Then this morning on my very liberal radio station that I listen to, they were saying the guy he does a 1 minute news roundup, and it's kind of
Summary.
your
Yeah.
world news in a minute. And he said, I hate to report this, but I couldn't find any good news. So both ends of the spectrum are seeing a problem.
Finally.
Yeah, it was
Interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. Recently, the biggest thing that these crises are covering up are court cases that
Hmm.
are catastrophic results and catastrophic to the politics, catastrophic to U.S. national laws. Those things have been going down. Um, Case in point, the SCOTUS decision about Roe v. Wade. Um, yeah, what else is going on? That suddenly
Well,
that's
and then the January
the
6th
stir.
thing, they're doing that, and
They're
but they're
yeah,
also pulling.
right.
They're
The January 6th case is full of holes and bullshit that they don't want you to know about.
Yeah, and people actually being proven to lie. I mean, the woman who
Mm,
said that Trump
Hutchins,
tried to
yeah.
interfere with the limo driving thing. First of all, he wouldn't have access to the steering wheel whatsoever, and the the Secret Service people that were there are wanting to go. No, we want to testify because that's not true. Plus, it was secondhand knowledge on her part.
She wasn't even in the car.
Yeah, it was
She
something
never
she
saw it.
heard. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, why is hearsay not allowed in regular court, but it's allowed in a Senate hearing?
Because
That,
it's January 6th and it's yeah, a bunch of liberals going against Trump.
yeah.
So anyway,
It just,
interesting conversations
yeah, just
about what
something.
some things we might be just maybe we're being distracted from. Just saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Angela makes another good comment. Yet,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that's a whole
that I was
nother.
going to bring that up too. Yet little is being reported on the Maxwell sentencing. Weird. The Ghislaine Maxwell sentence case, in which it was proven that several current and past presidential families and constituents of world power were are recorded to have participated on a pedophilia uh,
Traffic.
junket,
Yeah.
child trafficking junket, and entertainment venue that was on a private island hosted by Jeffrey Epstein, the man who could never hang himself. I think Epstein's still alive, but that's a whole nother show. So, yeah. So, anyway,
Give
we
us
need
another
numbers.
number.
All right. So while we're waiting for more numbers, I'm going to mess with our ages. I'm going to do 5 plus 5, which is me, 10. Iris, what is question number 10?
All right. What was the 5 plus 5 for?
My
What was
age.
those numbers? Oh,
My
age.
age.
Oh,
My
God.
age. Yeah, 5 plus 5. I'm 5 years
Numerology
old
computer.
twice.
Okay.
Is humanity doomed to head in a destructive direction?
Oh, Lord.
Lord, I'm serious. I did not pick that on purpose. I randomly picked a number 10, 5 plus 5. Is humanity doomed to head in a destructive direction? Are we doomed to be to a destructive? Oh, there are two ways to look at that. Iris, where you want to go with that one?
I'm looking at, is it doomed in a destructive direction or self-destructive
Are we
direction?
ah that is the question. Hamlet,
Because
you just
I
hit
mean,
it.
technically, we're all responsible for destruction in some way or another. You can't help necessarily what somebody else does, but if we all, oh, well, this is giving me chills and I'm getting goosebumps. So this is important, and I'm sorry to jump in. I know it's your question, but
No, I was
here's,
asking you.
yeah, here, okay. If if we look at
All of humanity.
We are all connected.
Hmm.
It is up to us to show positive attributes, to be able to share positivity with other people. Because and I'm just for people who might not have heard us talk about this before, when you walk into a room and somebody's having an argument with somebody else, you can feel the tension. You know that there's
Sure,
negative stuff
sure.
in the air. And the same is true when somebody's happy. It
Yes.
doesn't take much to go in and flip that energy into positive. And so if you do that, it's going to be exponentially spread. One person gets happy and the next person gets happy.
Oh, because of the butterfly effect. Yeah, and the
Yeah, the
ripple effect that
butterfly
we
effect. Yeah.
naturally do to each other. Yeah.
Right. And so, and that's a lot of what I mean, and we've even done it like during COVID, there would be um, positive meditations with thousands of people involved, and we would see the results on the Schumann resonance
Instantly.
instantly. And it was fascinating to see how the energy would change. Um, so, in that sense, we are all responsible in some way for trying to get humanity to be more positive. And if we do that, that indirectly makes us responsible for destruction or in non-destruction.
I hear you saying participating in a ho'oponopono type
Yeah,
of sense. If you're aware of it at on any level, you are participating in its
yeah.
existence, in the existence of it, even if you don't like it.
And so, is humanity doomed? No, doomed and doomed to me insinuates
Means
that there is a fate that you can't change there.
a one-way finite
Yeah,
destruction. Okay, cool.
but now it's yours.
Now that's good. I have a slightly different answer. Is humanity doomed to head in a destructive direction? I say yes, because very simply, destruction is an essential part of creation.
That's true.
Everything has to be destroyed or end or terminate or whatever. You can call it destroyed.
You got to end one thing to make
You
something
got
come
to,
later.
in a duality universe, which is where the earth is. All right. And they're talking about humanity. So I'm assuming they're talking about the humans here on earth. There are tens of thousands of other planets that have humans on them, but this earth is the one we know about in this time. So this is what we're talking about. But in this duality of our particular timeline,
Hmm.
this 3D dimension, in order for anything to be created, it first has to go through destruction, and it's a cycle: destruct to create, or actually destruct create, destruct create. And people die. Old people die. New people are born. Trees are cut down and die, and paper is used to create songs and essays and um,
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah, architectural drawings and so on. Um, Food, animals die, plants die. Those are both sentient beings. They die, and their bodies go on to create healthier, happier, faster, smarter humans who can grow more animals and plant more plants. And therefore, both sets of beings propagate, the humans and the animals and the food. Actually, all three sets of beings propagate. So destruction happens to support creation, which supports destruction, which supports creation, etc., etc.,
That is
etc.
cool.
Thank
And,
you.
and Angela made a comment that she was skating around the rabbit holes. Yes. Ah, take it. Dive, dive, dive. Yeah.
Boo, boo, absolutely.
We ain't turned to 10:30
All
yet.
right. So add up your age. I'm not going to say your age, Iris. Add up your age. What's your
But
grand
we're at
total?
10:30. Do you really want to hear
Yes, I
that?
do.
Okay.
I
So
want you to answer one
what
more.
am I? Uh,
Digit plus digit.
7, then I believe. Yes, I
What
had to
is
look at what date is it? I can't.
oh, what is the meaning of
Oh
true love?
God.
Iris is single and divorced and a grandmother. She knows about all kinds of love.
Oh
The
God.
beginning, the middle, the end. Love for your kids, your family, yourself, sweethearts, animals. She's a doggy mom. Iris,
Yeah.
you're qualified to answer this question inside and out.
What is any true love? Yeah, I guess you know.
And that's just human love. I think you're even bigger than that.
Thank you. I mean, I
You're
appreciate that.
welcome.
I think.
Yeah.
I think to me, the meaning of true love. It's hard to define it without using other emotions as part of it. But I think when you can respect somebody for who they are
Yeah.
and care about them and and talking about true, not like, oh, you're my one true love. I'm talking about true.
That's romantic love. That's
Yeah,
romantic love.
yeah.
You're right. That's something else entirely.
So but true love is accepting and respecting, is acceptance and
Yes.
respect, and
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 that's harder than it
grows
sounds.
from that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean that it's like we love our children, we love our grandchildren, and yet they'll they'll do stuff that you're like, what in the hell are you doing? And but you still love them and you're letting them live their life in their way, and that's true love. You're respecting their decisions and that sort of thing.
You're also describing respect. How is respect different from love?
You can respect your boss, but it doesn't mean that you love them.
Right. So what's the
But I think
difference?
it also allows us to love more people than we realize we do.
Yes.
When somebody says, "Oh, I love everybody," yeah, I used to think it was kind of cliche, but you can find if you respect your fellow human beings. It's a true love, as in a pure love. It's respecting them. I can disagree with somebody and still love them and still respect them. Um,
I think you're missing one element in that definition. Yes, it involves respect. Absolutely. I think it also involves perpetual forgiveness of
mm,
self and others because as humans, we trigger each other all the time. Remember the spiral? You're
yeah.
always going to revisit your triggers just at a higher level.
Hmm.
And so it seems like, why does that always come back around? Well, it's supposed to. You're just supposed to be seeing it from a higher and a higher level. So, yeah, I think it has to do with respect, but I also think it has to do with perpetual respect and perpetual forgiveness, which we're starting to define compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's different levels of true love.
Oh, there's tons of definitions of love. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not just
But
one.
in talking about, true love, a pure love, an honest love, that can be with anybody. I like Angela's comment. We live, we die, and if one person has breathed easier and held a smile because we were here, then we made a difference for the
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
it.
love. That's love for humanity and self. Yeah. That's a very poetic way to state that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we will save the rest of those questions for another round.
Yes. And
Mark the ones we've already used. Yep.
next week we will be back with What is our program next week? I put it on the doohickey. Let me show this. Um,
Psychic readings. We'll
the
be
psychic readings. Oh
doing
man,
mini
our brains
readings.
are going to be engaged again next week, and yeah, so
Come get your mini readings. Ask us questions about yourself, your loved ones, the world in general, things in the past, things in the future, Akashic record, past lives, future lives. Bring it.
yes, bring it on. Same bat time, same bat channel. We appreciate you being with us tonight and for engaging with us and letting us discuss these questions and for your comments and all. We love it and we
Yay!
appreciate y'all being here. And we love
We
you.
love you. Good night and namaste, babies.
Good night.
Thank you for joining The Eyes of Indigo with Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears. Music is Arcadia by Kevin MacLeod of Incomptech.com, licensed under Creative Commons. Visit our Facebook page for broadcast details at www.facebook.com/Eyes of Indigo. Show is copyrighted 2022 by Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears. All rights reserved.